It's really good to have shame and fear, because the shame and the fear, it's actually the mark of the believer. Really, it is. What you'll find is people who have been into like certain sins very deeply and for a long time, there is no more shame, there is no more fear, there's nothing. So if someone feels shame and fear over anything that they're doing, I think it's a really good sign. I know it doesn't feel good, but it should make you feel good. Why? Because you think, Alhamdulillah, I'm so glad that at least I feel this thing. Because if I didn't feel it, I would be completely heedless. And there are people on earth right now, even Muslims, who are heedless of the things that they're doing. So the fact that I'm aware of it and I feel it, it's actually a really good thing. And in a way, you should actually be grateful for the shame and the guilt and all this stuff that Allah has given you. Because if you didn't have it, you would be in trouble and you would go deeper into a lot of issues. So that's the first thing. Second thing I would say is that the stuff that you're talking about is actually very natural. If I walk past a woman and she's got really nice perfume on, your level of attraction is going to go up. There's no doubt. As men, we are very visually focused. So if we see a very beautiful woman, that's going to affect us. So all of these feelings, they're actually very natural. And again, it's actually something to be grateful for. Why? Because there are other brothers who have a much harder test than this. There's brothers who find brothers attractive. And that is a 10 times, million times harder test than what you and I have been given, alhamdulillah. So we should actually realize this is natural, and we should thank Allah that we have the normal desires that people have, because it's something that is nowadays is very common for people not to have that. So again, it's something really, really grateful and to be really thankful for. And fundamentally, like I said, the feelings that you feel, there's no issue in that. Really, there's no, if I go outside and I just see a woman and she's extremely beautiful and I feel extremely attracted to her, there's nothing wrong with that at all. The feelings themselves, there's no issue. The issue comes with the action. So if I see a very beautiful woman and I just see she's beautiful and I feel attracted and that's it, no issue. But if I see her and then I'm like, whoa, she's amazing, and then I look at her and I look at her and I look, that's the issue. The issue is the actions. Or I go and speak to her, or I go and do this. These are the issues. And I think these are the things where we've got to be very careful. And that's why even looking is like very dangerous. Why? Because when you look, then you feel like, okay, I feel like speaking. When you speak, then you feel like this. And so it just goes to that next level. So it's really important to do that. Part of the things that I would do, like I said, I would actually be really grateful for the shame that Allah has given me. I'd be grateful for the fact that I have these natural kind of inclinations. And I would stop feeling guilty for whatever I'm feeling. Then what I would do is I would set the boundaries for myself. And I'll be like, okay, this is what I will do, this is what I won't do. And then everything I would try and do would be trying to stick to those things. And I should know in my heart and in my mind that, look, the main thing is around actually doing the right action. So it might be that I'm on a work call, I have to be on this call. The woman is talking, she sounds very attractive. I can't see her, for example, she sounds very attractive. And in my heart, I feel attracted to that. All right, fine. There's no issue with that because it's just an internal feeling and it's a work call you have to be on. Now, if you were just calling this woman up just to listen to her, and that's completely different. But if you're on a work call and you find the woman attractive or something like that, or you find the brother attractive in the sense of females, there's no issue with that because the feelings are not regulated by Islam. The way you feel is not actually an issue. But the key is the actions that come from that. And I think those are the kind of places where we can actually improve. Those are the places that we can do. Now, there's going to be times when you fall and you make mistakes and you sin. This is natural. Every human being goes through this process in different parts of their lives. So the main thing is, if you do fall, for you to recommit, for you to get back onto the path, to ask Allah's forgiveness, to do all those kind of things. But at the same time, what I would do is I would try and maybe take in more content that would try and hit things. For example, imagine that every single day I was listening specifically to let's say 2 hours of talks on going to Jahannam for zina. If I was listening to that for 2 hours attentively every day, it's very unlikely that someone's going to commit the act of zina the full way, I mean, right? It's very unlikely. Why? Because it's just going through that thing that their focus is purely on not doing zina and on avoiding Jahannam and getting to Jannah and this and all the things you're going to get in Jannah and all this stuff. So part of it, I think, is if there's things like this, it's good to have content that you're taking in regularly that is going to help your mind to refocus and remind you, because the biggest thing Shaitan does is just make you forget. He's like, just enjoy this one moment, just enjoy this second, but he doesn't make you realize that, hold on, I think this a lot to myself about lowering the gaze and stuff. I'm like, okay, let's imagine that I see a really attractive sister, a female. I look at her. Okay, imagine that I just let go of my no sins and I don't care about sins. What's going to happen? Okay, the most that's going to happen is you're going to look at her for a minute or two and you're going to get a few seconds of joy or whatever you call it. Okay, what after that? Nothing. It's actually worse. Why? Because then what happened is you left with a desire. I wish I could have that. But the truth is you're not going to have it. So What happens if you don't look? Well, if you don't look, it actually guarantees getting what you want and more. Why? Because if you lower your gaze for the sake of Allah, Allah will give you things that will give you more pleasure than what you were looking at. So the guaranteed way to get what you're looking at, what you actually want, is not to look. This is the key to it, that you need to, and I know it's hard to rationalize this because this is like instinctual internal stuff. It is not logical. Okay, I'm looking at a girl and I shouldn't look, and it's not like that. Of course it's not. But a lot of this is to do with the language. Like when we're thinking about what we will do, what we won't do, a lot of it is to do with the language, the context, all these things. So this is why I'm saying that taking in regular content, reminding yourself of the rewards that you're going to get, all these kind of things, I think these are all little steps that help you. And like I said, if you fall, you fail, you just get back up, you just recommit, and you just try again better in another day. Allah will forgive you. The question is, are you willing to forgive yourself? And a lot of the times it's just that you're not willing to forgive yourself. But if Allah can forgive you, then surely you should forgive yourself. So I think it's just a case of keeping that in your mind and doing your best, inshallah.